Welcome to the Unseen Critics, yeah.
Is there things that you don't like?
There's a lot of things I don't like. I'm very opinionated.
Is there things that you do like?
Oh, yes.
Well, there's things that I don't like. There's things that I do like. And that is what this podcast is about.
There's more things you don't like, I feel like.
I just want to make love to you. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Joey B. I am the founder of Blind Knowledge. BlindKnowledge.com is where it's at. Podcasts, streamers, gamers, music. We got content. It's real. It's truthful. It's dope. Check it out, man. BlindKnowledge.com. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Hey, Jesse.
Richard.
You watched a lot of stuff this weekend, didn't you? Or this week?
I did, surprisingly.
I did too. I got a story to tell you about one of the things that I watched.
All right.
But we are now officially on Apple Podcasts,
Yay.
which means we're on Overcast.
Yay.
We're also on Amazon and Audible, on Spotify.
Yay.
We're on a lot of places. One place we cannot get on is Stitcher.
Is that even a thing anymore? I guess it is.
I don't know, but I know the website that we have to use is not accessible. For the majority of it, it is. But when you try to click on your podcast so that you can put in the RSS news feed and swap all that information out, it's not. Because I just keep clicking and clicking.
They must have changed it because it used to be.
And that part is not anymore, so you know me, I'm not worried about it anymore. We'll just be on the places that we are. We're on the most popular ones anyway, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Audible. But everybody that listens, please rate and review us. Help us get up there. Share the word. Because as always, word of mouth is still the best form of advertisement. But Jesse, you watched a movie that you're talking about, just the name got me interested in wanting to watch it. So I'm going to wait for it to come out on, I think you said Paramount, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
That wasn't it, but that was the movie, but that's not what I said was coming on Paramount.
I thought you said it was coming on Paramount. Is it
no, the Scream movie's coming on Paramount.
I thought you had told me that Winnie the Pooh was coming out.
No.
One of those two.
No, I rented the son of a bitch for $9.99.
Okay, was it worth it?
For what it was, I enjoyed it. The story was extremely thin. The acting wasn't bad. The characters were one-dimensional, but for what it was, like Winnie the Pooh and the creatures torturing people, I would watch it, but I would never pay $9.99.
So wait till it's streamed somewhere.
Yeah.
How many stars?
3 stars. I'd say, I was going to say 2. I'd give it 3 stars, I think.
Ooh. So
2.5,
definitely wait.
How about that?
We can go with a half star.
Okay.
We can do half stars here. Although you can't do 5.5 stars. That's excessive. But, so definitely wait till it comes out onto a streaming service for free. Yeah. Or 99 cents.
Yep. Which it won't be for a while.
Right. You got me wanting to watch it just because I remember growing up watching The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see it from that regards, but, now I'm actually okay if I never watch it. So it won't be one of those things that I'm too terribly, worried about. But since, I thought you had said that one was coming out, but it's actually the new Scream movie.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. I know you haven't watched it yet. Neither one of us have, but you said it's coming out tomorrow, right?
It's coming out tomorrow on Paramount, and I cannot wait to watch it.
And I'm kind of looking forward to it, to give a good judgment of it. So both of us will definitely give that review next week.
I really liked the last one from last year.
You're talking about the one from 2022, what was it, number 5?
Yes.
I think. I liked it, and honestly, I thought it wrapped it up really good, and, my opinion on Leave It Alone.
I agree with that too, but I don't know. I agree with that too, but everything, I haven't read any spoilers, but everything I'm seeing from the reviews saying it's the best entry in the franchise. So I'm very curious to see.
Ooh, that's going to have to go some, because the
I,
first
I,
one...
I agree. I agree completely, but it's like horror websites and they're pretentious as shit saying this. So I'm like, what the hell I'm very curious. The only thing, and I guess it's been out, whoever's wanted to see it's probably seen it. I think they killed Dewey off. I hated how they killed him off.
Oh, I've watched that one.
Yeah, that was a 2022 one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so how are they going to kill him off in this one? Or is that the one that you're talking about is...
No, the one that's 6 is coming on Paramount. The one where they killed him off was before that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's why I thought they... Go ahead.
No, they said this new one, because it was out at the movies.
Uh-huh.
And they said it is the best one in the franchise.
I still gonna have to... I'll give my opinion next week.
I know, yeah. But I still think it was shitty how they killed off Dewey. I think he should have met more.
Yeah, it was kind of lackluster.
And it pissed me off because he was my favorite character.
But see, that's what would, kind of would really happen. I like, in a way, them killing off the main characters, because it ends the story then, and then I won't watch anymore after they're all dead. Yeah. Because I think it's ridiculous. But, that's just something different. But I actually have a review here. I've caught up on Ted Lasso. I know you've never watched any of them.
No, I need to.
But they are absolutely hilarious. Now, so far what I've watched this season, I'm not going to spoil it because, they're still coming out.
He was actually in the Renfield movie that I'm going to talk about. He had a bit.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
He was an evil, like, assistant type person.
But while they're still funny, there's a bit more seriousness to them, and I think this is supposed to be the last season.
That's probably why, I bet.
Which makes me kind of sad, because I do like the show so much, but, you don't want to go too much where people just start hating the show, and you're basically wasting money. So, definitely recommend watching it. Lots of good laughs in it still, but, like I said, I really wanted to wait till the show was over so I could watch them all, like binge it, but I just couldn't wait anymore. I wanted to catch up. And
if I'm going to watch one of those on Apple, should it be that or Shrink?
Well, you can find about Shrink or Shrinking after you give us your review of the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or Maisel.
I love the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It's about a character named Maisel, Mrs. Maisel, obviously. And Mrs. Maisel is a housewife who finds out that her husband it's in its 6th and final season, but she finds out that her husband was cheating on her. So she decides, I'm going to do something. This is set in the 1950s. She's like, I'm going to do something for me. So she decides to become a female stand-up comic. And it's about her kind of like breaking into stand-up comedy in the 50s and stuff like that. It is phenomenal. It's hilarious. The supporting cast is all funny, and they just they're releasing them every week, I guess, because Amazon started doing that now. So there's 4 episodes out, and I just caught up with the last one yesterday. I have to wait till Friday for the next episode. But it's a phenomenal show.
Excellent. How good is the audio description?
Very good. There's a lot of talking in it, so like there's not a whole lot to describe, but what they get through they don't cut out the talking or anything. Like, it's really good.
Good. Yeah, I like that. And I'm going to talk about Shrinked or Shrinking, because I've heard 2 different names to it, and it's like I don't know which one it is.
I looked it up, but I forget which one it is now. I thought it was Shrink, but I think it's Shrinking. I don't know.
I know the voiceover that I use, it made it sound like Shrinked. but I do think it's actually called Shrinking.
Okay.
But it's all good. I think it's by the same producer of Ted Lasso, right? I don't know all of that. I don't know all of the information about it. I didn't really look all that much into it, but I do know that I laughed and laughed. And before the season was even over, I looked to see if they were coming back with another one, and they're actually coming back with 2 and 3 as of right now. It starts off really sad because the main character's wife has died, but
and then he basically just doesn't give a fuck, right?
Pretty much, yeah. One of the funniest scenes though was like his neighbor comes over and asks him, "Are those hookers?" And he's like, "Nah." It's like, "Have you paid them for sex?" And he goes, "Not yet." You know, I mean, I just started laughing. But he like trying to get his life back and all, and he's talking to this one person, and she's like, "Well, yeah," and, doing the whiny bit, and it's not like he finally gets on. He's like, "You know what? You just need to tell your husband to go. You just need to leave him and just leave." He said, "You've been coming to me for so many years, and it's not helping." He said, "I'm going through some shit. You seem to be going through some shit. Let's just get rid of the shit." And it's so funny because it's, it honestly reminds me, Jesse, a lot of me. Like
the therapist probably want to say is a therapist.
Yes. Yes. And there's a lot of 90s references in it because, they're older adults, and of course it's got Harrison Ford in it,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of 90s music, should I say, in it. And he's such a grumpy old man, kind of like the movie with Walter Matthau, Grumpy Old Men.
I like that movie.
I at first did not realize it was Harrison Ford. I knew that I recognized the voice.
Yeah.
But it was so unlike his or what I remember his sounding like that I had no idea.
I remember when I saw The Force Awakens, his voice has changed, like since he's gotten older.
Well, that's it. He's got old grandpa voice now. Yeah. Like I need my depends changed, but I mean he plays such a good role here, and they're all so good together, and it's so freaking funny, and I love the next door neighbor. And
are all the episodes of the season out?
Yes. Yes, because it came out in 2022, and
oh really? I thought it came out this year.
No. I think maybe the season ended this year.
Oh. Okay. Because I started seeing commercials for it on TV, so I wasn't sure.
Well, see, I found it strictly by accident because I was finishing up Lasso, and it said, how it does. You may also like, or you may also be interested in. I'm like, I don't care nothing about no Shrink. And then I saw that it was, had some of the same stuff that Ted Lasso had. And I thought, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And I started watching it at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I had to turn it off at 1:30 in the morning. It got me that hooked. It's like, I don't want to stop it, but I'm so tired. Like, but something that bothers me.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, pretty much. But something that really bothers me, and I've only found it with the series, is that with each episode, I have to turn on audio description. Weird. I don't know if there's a setting in there somewhere. Steven has helped me, like saying, to go check this, and it's fine.
There's that one setting, but I assume you looked at, like, that's strange to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, now I don't do it with movies, but then again, you turn on movies and then just let them play. So you don't have to change the audio description every time.
Right.
But with each and every episode, I had to pause it, go turn on audio description, and then, keep going. So if anybody out there listening to this knows the setting that can be straight up audio description every time I check in, like it does with Amazon Prime and
Netflix.
Netflix, please let us know. But that was the only annoying part. And I mean, I was so into the show, it was well worth it still doing it, you know. And their audio description was really good.
Is it one of those ones that didn't need it, or was there like
I
a
really
lot of
don't. I don't think there's a whole lot of need of it.
But it's still nice to have.
It's still nice to have because there's some scenes you would have been left like, huh? Like with the next door neighbor and, you know, some of the facial expressions that they would make.
Okay.
You know, you would not have known, but made a lot of sense.
You know, I used to always pride myself. I'm like, oh, I don't need description, you know, because I've watched a lot of things without it. But having it basically with everything now, with like Netflix, Prime, all that stuff, it's very obvious when you don't have it. Like Winnie the Pooh, I could have really needed it.
Right. Now, some of the older stuff that I watch, I don't need the audio description.
Right.
And most of those because I've seen them and watched them so much that I just don't need it. But I mean, I'd still like to have it now to see if it's, you know, what I remember. But, you know, it is what it is. But tell us about Renfield. This was a movie that I was supposed to go watch with an older friend of mine, but you know, unfortunately, you know, with everything going on with Mama, I didn't want to get out and risk bringing anything back to her. But tell us about it.
So Renfield, as the title suggests, is about Dracula's assistant, Renfield, and Dracula is played by Nicolas Cage in a hysterical role. I enjoyed this movie. It's kind of like a redemption story for Renfield a little bit. Like he gets tired of his life and he goes to this support group for like people that have someone in their life that's like a villain, let's say. And he learns there's more to life. You deserve better and stuff like that. So he goes on this path to redemption. He gets tangled up with a policewoman and drug dealers and gangsters, and there's a thing, you know, when he eats bugs, he gets his power. Well, when he eats bugs, he gets like vampire strength and starts really fucking shit up. Like if there's bad guys there or something. I really enjoyed it. It was funny. It's not one that I like was hysterical to where I can't wait to like rent it when it comes out or see it again. I'd probably give it 3.5 stars. But I'd say everybody should watch it. It's funny. It's just, I don't know if I expected a little more, but there's some parts that were genuinely like laugh out loud funny. Especially when he's like, I need a bug. And he like eats a little ant and he gets his energy. It's funny.
I can't wait to check it out because I mean, I still want to watch it and, you know, as well as like Creed 3, Super Mario Brothers.
I still need to see Creed 2.
I did watch a D&D movie the other day. Tried to finish it, but the stream quit. Cause it, you know, it wasn't at my house, but it wasn't the, official copies, I guess. But I had never watched it. I know there's like 2 or 3 of them out there, probably more, but
there's one that came to the theater. And there's one that I've heard's good that I've never watched that came to just direct to video.
Yeah, there's one like 2014, 15, something like that, I think.
I don't know about that one.
It could be 2007. I'm not sure the year, but I mean, I thought it was pretty good, and I got it off of Blind Mice Movie Vault. You know, really good place for audio descriptive movies. They're not professionals, so, you know, take that into account. But really looking forward to watching Renfield whenever it becomes available. And I also finished The Last of Us. I didn't realize this until, you know, I went back to watch it because, you know, I had left off whenever I went on the cruise back in February.
I didn't know you even watching it.
Yeah. And, you know, it's about the fungus and, you know, based on the video game.
Right.
Well, the first several episodes were really, really good. Really enjoyed them, really into them. I like the apocalypse stuff, you know, how well they played it off of the game. But coming back from the cruise and all that was going on with Mama, having the fungal sinus infection, made the last episodes that I had to watch and catch up really hard to watch.
Oh.
Because of that, it being a fungus, in her sinuses, and it being a fungus in the world. Really hard. Glad that I did. There were some parts that me as a person, I don't personally agree with, because, I just don't believe in that way. There was some like homosexual activity, and that happened in Shrinking as well. And I'm not judging the people. I just don't like it. That's just me. It didn't take away from the show or anything at all, though.
I'm only on episode 2, or no, episode 3. I must have gotten to that yet because I haven't seen anything about that yet.
No, it's in the last 3 episodes. I can't remember which one it is.
I'll have to ask you who it is out of the off the show.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you, so I'm not going to tell you anyway. Because you would be surprised, but that's just not one of the things that I'm into. And we've talked about it before. As long as it's not overly flamboyant and like shoved down your throat, I can deal with it. But it's just not one of those things that I'm into. And if you are into those things, hey, that's you. You do you. I do me. And Jesse, well, he can just do Jesse. We all have our own opinions of things, and that's what makes the world go round, right?
Yep.
All right. Now, here's one. Oh, nope. We got to go over the Infinity Pool that you watched. I've never heard about this, so give me a basis. Pool
is about this couple. Mia Goth is the female, and Alexander Skarsgård is the guy. I don't really know what to tell you. He's been. Have you ever watched True Blood?
I recognize his name, but I can't remember from what.
Okay. They're a couple, and he's having writer's block. He's a writer. He wrote like one famous novel, one kind of famous novel, and he can't figure out what to write next. So they go on this couples retreat to this like secluded, kind of resort, and all this crazy shit starts to happen. Excuse me. He ends up a hit and run, killing someone, which makes some craziness happen. And there's a twist in there that I'm not going to tell you about either, that completely put the movie on a whole different path. You're like, oh, so that's what happened. And very violent, very like hypnotic in a weird way. I'm glad I had an audio description because there's a lot of things that I would have missed out on. Very good. I enjoyed it. I know it gets mixed reviews from people, but I had fun with it. It was directed by Brandon Cronenberg, whose father, David Cronenberg, did horror movies like in the 80s, and he's doing them, like still doing them now. The Amazon series Dead Ringers that just came out is based on his movie.
I've looked at that, thinking about watching it too.
And very good.
So tell us, where did you watch this at?
I rented it on iTunes. The first movie of Brandon Cronenberg's I watched, his first movie, I cannot think of the name of it right now, but they would like sell body parts of like celebrities after they passed away. It was like a science fiction-y type thing. It was very good as well, but I really enjoyed this. So I'd probably give this 4 stars, I'd say.
Ooh. So, definitely worth checking out? Or...
Yeah, I say it was.
Yeah, that's, I know something we haven't talked about, but I think I'm going to finally break down and rent that Dracula movie that I told you about that was 99 cents.
Let me know how that is.
Where it's got the female Van Helsing in it. Yeah. And I keep coming across and it's like, okay, I'm gonna rent it. Then I go to rent it, it's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, because you do the same thing, I'm sure.
Yep.
But let's talk about Tetris. Now, let me give a basis here. This was a game that I played growing up on the Nintendo Entertainment System, as well as the Game Boy, and I loved this game. It was a lot of fun because I love doing puzzles, and that's what it was like to me, was doing puzzles. And Mama enjoyed the game, and we like go against each other, like trying to see who'd get the better score, or. So it was a lot of memories for me, a lot of nostalgia that I wanted to check this out. And man, I started the movie, and it tells the backstory of how it became and how it got to be worldwide. And I loved it so much, I almost turned around and started watching it again. Me personally, I love the audio description of it. I love the acting in it, the flashbacks, the truthness, the true storyness. And I really enjoyed how it was such a smooth watch for me. Me personally, I'd give it 5 stars. And I know that you do not agree. So tell us why. And tell us your thoughts on it.
I remember Tetris, obviously. I never played it, but it was always around. My mom was really into it. When she used to watch my cousins in the summer when their mom worked, my one cousin would lock himself in the bathroom with the Game Boy so she couldn't get a turn on it. And my grandma actually bought... Do you remember the Nintendos that came out kind of after the Nintendo craze, but they were top loaders, like you stuck the game up and down in it. He bought my mom one of those with Tetris for Christmas one year. And so I have a lot of memory with Tetris. I like the music. And I really wanted to see this movie. The acting was good. I don't know what I expected, though, because it's a true story, which I knew, but just it didn't
It didn't grab you, did it?
I need to. No, I didn't hate it. I'd give it probably 3 stars, to be honest with you, because it was well done. It was interesting. I had to watch it in spurts because it didn't grab me to where I'm like, I cannot wait to see what happens. I could always leave it if I got a text or whatever else it would be.
Yeah.
But I didn't. It's not like it was bad.
Yeah. Me, I was getting upset whenever I kept getting texts and stuff like I'm trying to watch
I was I'm like, oh, okay. Text hi, okay.
Yeah, I really like also in the movie, and you can tell us what you thought about it. But it'd be like it introduced one person, or be through with one little segment, it'd be like level 2.
Yes.
Level 3.
And they even did it with character 1, character. I love the little video game dogs. I love that.
Yes. I thought that was a great way to incorporate things that you'd find in the game in it. Like I said, I give it 5 stars, and Jesse said he'd give it 3. I think a lot of except it's cold there. No. I think a lot of it for me was the nostalgia of being able to have played it back whenever I could see, on the different devices. I never played it on the computer, though, and I had no idea it was originally a computer game.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so, I think a lot of it comes from that. You haven't
played both. Was there major differences between the NES and the Game Boy versions, or were they basically the same?
From what I remember, Jesse, just the color. Because Game Boy was straight up black and white.
Right. I love all the music in that game, though. All of it.
Oh, yeah. And
I love the little nods to the music during the movie.
And if you were to beat the game, there was a little guy that would play a violin. And I remember, I can't remember it so much on the NES, but I do remember it on the Game Boy, because the square would be like a regular square, but it'd have 4 black dots in the middle of it, and I remember that, and there was a 7-shaped piece, and you could flip it around, and it was just, I don't know, I just loved playing it because I love puzzles, and I still love puzzles, but like I said, I'd definitely give it a 5. Yeah, I wish they'd do something like that with like Mario or some of the other stuff as well. I think it'd be really cool. Is there anything else you'd like to say about it, or go over anything else?
No, that's all we got.
And he's texting while we're recording the podcast. Ain't it lovely, folks?
How'd you know?
Because your voice went away from the phone, and I can hear the.
My dad's hooking up a TV and wants the internet password, and he's like, neither of them work.
Tell him to wait for it.
We're gonna do Scream next week. I don't know what else I'll watch.
But before we get to there, Jesse, do you walk around barefooted?
Yes.
So do I.
Not when I go out, obviously, but around my house I do.
Well, I recently discovered several months back minimalist shoes or zero drop shoes. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
It's like a regular tennis shoe, except when you walk, it feels like you're walking barefooted. They have a very, very thin like sole on the bottom, and man, they are the most comfortable shoes I think I've ever worn in my life.
I've never heard of them.
I absolutely love them. They're soft, they're comfortable, they let your toes spread. I mean, it's just like you're walking barefooted. You can't even tell you got shoes on. I wore them on the cruise and just love them. And definitely, something people need to check out if you like walking barefooted, or it's really healthy for your feet and legs as well. But, that's really about it. We will be covering the new Scream, and not sure what else we'll go over. Waiting on some reviews.
One thing. Next week we're going to have an email address.
No, sir. We already have the email because I know you. And it is unseeingcritics@gmail.com. Because somebody was supposed to set it up. It's all good, my dude. I know you. But yes, I went ahead and created it because somebody else was supposed to create it, and they hadn't yet. But anyway, I'll definitely send us an email to unseeingcritics@gmail.com, and hopefully by next week we'll also have a logo.